In the heart of the Middle East, two nations, Iran and Israel, stand as regional powerhouses. Their rivalry shapes alliances, fuels conflicts, and keeps the world on edge. Iran, a Shia Islamic republic, projects power through a network of militias from Lebanon to Yemen, challenging the US-led order. Israel, a Jewish state and technological giant, is a close Western ally, vigilant against existential threats. Their conflict, once fought in the shadows, now erupts in direct military strikes. The stakes have never been higher, with their influence reaching far beyond their borders. Decades ago, they were quiet partners, united by shared interests against common Arab adversaries. But political upheaval transformed this partnership into one of the world's most dangerous rivalries. Today, the shadow war has become a hot war, with direct state-on-state attacks. This escalation marks a new, terrifying chapter in their history. How did we get here? What drives these nations to the brink of all-out conflict? To answer that, we must trace the path from unlikely friendship to outright hostility. Let's look back at how it all began. The story begins not with hatred, but with pragmatic partnership. In 1950, under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, Iran became the second Muslim-majority country to recognize Israel. Both nations, non-Arab powers, saw pan-Arab nationalism as a threat. This shared interest led to a quiet alliance. Iran supplied oil, Israel offered technical expertise, and their intelligence agencies collaborated. Israeli architects helped build modern Iran, while Iranian oil fueled Israel's economy. Military and economic ties flourished for nearly 3 decades. For the Shah, Israel was a link to the West. For Israel, Iran was a strategic ally. But this partnership depended on the Shah's regime, not popular support. Many Iranians, influenced by religious and anti-Western sentiment, distrusted Israel. The Shah's ties to Israel and the US became a major point of criticism. This underlying tension was a ticking time bomb. The spark came in 1979 with a revolution that would upend the entire region. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution toppled the Shah and brought Ayatollah Khomeini to power. Overnight, Iran's identity and alliances were transformed. The US became the Great Satan, and Israel, once a partner, was now the Little Satan. Iran cut all ties with Israel, handing its embassy to the PLO, and making opposition to Israel a core pillar of its new regime. Khomeini declared the liberation of Palestine a religious duty, establishing Quds Day as an annual protest. Israel lost a strategic ally and gained a powerful ideologically driven enemy. Iran began exporting its revolution, challenging Israeli and American influence across the region. The era of quiet cooperation was over. A new era of confrontation began, defined by proxy wars, covert operations, and deep animosity. This set the stage for decades of shadow conflict. With direct war too risky, Iran and Israel fought through proxies. Iran's main tool militant groups like Hezbollah, created in Lebanon with IRGC support. Hezbollah became a permanent threat on Israel's border. Israel responded with covert operations, assassinations, cyber attacks, and support for anti-regime groups. The 2006 Lebanon war showed the power of Iran's proxy strategy, as Hezbollah fought Israel to a standstill. The Syrian civil war opened a new front, with Iran deploying fighters to support Assad and entrenching near Israel's border. Israel launched hundreds of airstrikes in Syria, targeting Iranian assets. Syria became the main arena for undeclared clashes between Iranian and Israeli forces. The shadow war escalated, pushing both sides closer to open conflict. Each move raised the stakes, making a direct confrontation increasingly likely. The region braced for the next phase. The conflict expanded into cyberspace and nuclear politics. Iran's nuclear program became the most contentious issue, with Israel vowing to prevent Tehran from acquiring the bomb. In 2010, the Stuxnet cyber attack, widely attributed to the US and Israel, damaged Iran's nuclear facilities. Iran retaliated with cyber attacks on Israeli infrastructure. Diplomacy offered hope with the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, limiting Iran's program in exchange for sanctions relief. Israel opposed the deal, arguing it legitimized Iran's nuclear ambitions. The US withdrawal from the deal in 2018 reignited tensions as Iran resumed uranium enrichment. Covert attacks and sabotage increased, pushing both sides to the brink. The nuclear clock ticked closer to midnight. The digital battlefield became as critical as the physical one. Each side sought to outmaneuver the other, with the world watching anxiously. The path to peace narrowed as confrontation intensified. In 2020, the Abraham Accords reshaped the Middle East. Several Arab states normalized relations with Israel, breaking decades of consensus. Wary of Iran's ambitions, these nations saw Israel as a strategic partner. The Accords created a new alliance, Israel and Sunni Arab states united against Iran. Security cooperation and intelligence sharing became public. Iran condemned the Accords, accusing Arab states of betrayal and encirclement. The deal hardened Iran's resolve, reinforcing its reliance on proxies and its nuclear program. The region's central conflict shifted from Israel versus Arabs to Iran versus an emerging bloc. The stakes rose, with any direct conflict threatening to draw in multiple countries. The strategic map was redrawn, and the risk of regional war increased. The rivalry entered a new, more dangerous phase. In late 2024, the shadow war erupted into open conflict. Years of proxy battles and assassinations created a powder keg. Israel intensified strikes against Iranian targets in Syria and Lebanon, assassinating senior IRGC commanders. Iran, under pressure to respond, launched a massive missile and drone assault on Israel in early 2025. It was the first direct attack from Iranian soil, aiming to overwhelm Israel's air defenses. The world watched as Israel, aided by allies, intercepted most projectiles. Israel retaliated with precision strikes deep inside Iran, targeting military and nuclear sites. The unwritten rules were shattered. Direct war had begun. Both sides acted to restore deterrence and protect national security. Iran sought to prove it couldn't be attacked with impunity. Israel demonstrated that any attack would bring devastating consequences. The region entered a dangerous, unpredictable era. The world braced for what might come next. Iran and Israel's militaries reflect quantity versus quality. Iran boasts large numbers, over 600,000 active personnel and a vast missile arsenal. Its strength lies in asymmetric warfare proxies, drones, and disruptive naval tactics. Israel's military is smaller but technologically superior, with advanced air power and intelligence. Its multi-layered missile defense proved effective in 2025. Israel is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons, the ultimate deterrent. Iran's strategy relies on depth and attrition, using proxies and missiles to deter attacks. Israel's doctrine is speed and preemption, aiming for rapid, decisive victory. Each side's approach is shaped by geography and existential fears. In any conflict, Israel must strike distant, well-defended targets while defending against missile barrages. The balance of power remains precarious. The direct war has pushed the Middle East to its most dangerous moment in decades. The old rules are gone. Escalation is hard to control. Any miscalculation could trigger a full-scale regional war, drawing in Iran's proxies, the US and Arab states. For Israel, the fight is about survival, neutralizing Iran's nuclear ambitions and proxy threats. For Iran's regime, it's about defending its revolution and regional influence. Both see the conflict as existential, fueling a cycle of action and retaliation. A wider war would devastate the region, disrupt global oil supplies, and trigger a refugee crisis. The risk of nuclear escalation, however small, looms over the world. The international community faces the urgent task of de-escalation. The future of the Middle East and global stability hangs in the balance. The choices made now will shape the region for generations. The world watches, hoping for peace but bracing for the worst.